Father William by Lewis Carroll. This is a poem about a father and his son, and especially the focus is on the Father William. Father William is an old man and he is doing some unusual activities which was not tolerated by his son, and the son questioned the activities of his father and wanted to know why he is doing this kind of activities. In this picture, as you can see, the father is standing upside down and the son is asking question to his father. What is the reason of doing this kind of activity? The son asks so many questions to his father, and his father answers all the questions patiently. But when he thinks that the boy is making fun of him, then his bridge of patience breaks and he becomes angry and threatens his son to beat if he is not stopping asking the question. So now, this poem has been divided into so many stanzas, and each stanza is followed by the conversation between the father and the son. As you can see here, the first stanza of the poem, this poem, in this first stanza, this is the question of the son. In this stanza, the son will ask the question, and in the next stanza, the father will answer the question of his son, which is Father William. Okay, Father William. Father William is the important character of this poem. Understood? Now, the poem starts with, "You are old, Father William," the young man said, "and your hair has become very white, and yet you incessantly stand on your head. Do you think at your age it is right?" And now the son is asking question to his father because of he has seen that the unusual activity his father is doing. He is asking to his father, "You are old, Father William, and your hair has become white." As you can see that the white hair is the symbol of the old age, so that the son is saying to his father that you have become old and your hair has become white, and instead of that you are standing upside and down. And he is asking, do you think at this age it is right whatever he is doing? Now you have come across this word incessantly. Incessantly means continuously. Continuously. Okay. Now the father will answer the question of his son. Father is saying, "In my youth," Father William replies to his son, "I feared it might injure the brain. But now that I am perfectly sure that I have none, why, I do it again and again." This is the answer of Father William, the question asked by his son. The Father William is saying, "In my youth." In my youth means when the Father William was young man. He said, "In my youth, I feared it might injure the brain." And now, when he was a young man, he was told that he could not stand upside down because it might injure the brain. But now, as you have seen that Father William has now become old and he has gained so many experience, and now he is saying that now that I am perfectly sure that I have none. By his experience, the old man has come to know that he has no brain, and now he is saying that if I don't have any brain, so that is why I do it again and again. In the next stanza, one more question is asked by the son. The son is asking one more question. And the question is, "You are old," said the youth, "as I mentioned before, and you have grown most uncommonly fat. Yet you turn a back somersault in at the door. Pray, what is the reason of that?" And now you can see that again the son is surprised at the activity of the Father William, and is saying, and is asking the question to his father, and saying, "You are old, as mentioned before, as I mentioned before." He said that, "I've already told you that you are old, and now you have become most uncommonly fat, and yet you turn a back somersault." Somersault means a kind of activity in which a man gets his head on the ground and his feet towards the sky. It means that the person stands upside down. And now the son is saying, "Yet you turn a back somersault in at the door." In at the door means near the door. The Father William is standing upside down near the door. And now the Father William's son is saying, "Pray." Pray means for God's sake, खुदा के लिए. What is the reason of that? Tell me, what is the reason of that? Why are you doing this kind of unusual activity? And now Father William is answering the question of his son. This is the statement of Father William. Okay. He says, which means Father William, "In my youth," said the sage. Here sage means the person who has very intelligent or learned person is called sage. Okay. So, "In my youth," which means when I was young, as he shook his grey locks, and when he was answering the question of his son, he says, "In my youth," and again he was touching his grey locks. Grey locks means white hairs. "And now I kept all my limbs very supple." Supple means active, chust durust. Okay. "In my youth I kept all my limbs." Limbs means hands and legs. "Very supple, very active, by the use of this ointment. And the secret of the activeness of all his limbs are this ointment." Ointment is a kind of medicinal oil. And he says, "The price of this ointment is 1 shilling. 1 shilling. Shilling is the currency of England. 1 shilling the box." And now he is making fun of his son. He is saying, "Allow me to sell you a couple. Do you want to buy some ointment from me? This will also make your muscles very strong and active." So this was the explanation of the Father William. Again the son is asking the question to his father. This is the statement of son. He is saying, "You are old," said the youth, "and your jaws are too weak for anything tougher than the sweet. Yet you finish the goose with the bones and the beak. Pray, how did you manage to do it?" First of all, I want to tell you the meaning of sweet. Sweet is a kind of soft meat. Soft meat. And then the son is saying to his father, "You are old and your jaws are too weak for anything tougher than the sweet." He's saying if you eat anything tougher, anything harder than the soft meat, your jaws will leave you, or they will stop working, or they will be broken. And now the son is astonished, surprised at the ability of his father, and saying, "Yet you finish the goose." You finish the goose means you eat the goose with bones and the beak. You not only eat the soft meat of the goose, but also you eat the bones and the beak of this goose, this bird also. Pray, how did you manage to do it? Pray, for God's sake, tell me, how do you manage it? आप ये कैसे कर लेते हो? Father William is answering. This is the statement of Father William. Father William. Okay. In Father William, what the Father William says? He says, "In my youth," said his father, "I took to the law and argued each case with my wife. And the muscular strength which it gave to me, to my jaw, has lasted the rest of my life." Again, the Father William is quoting his youth. He's saying, when I was young, in my youth, I took to the law. I took to the law means I used to argue in the court of law. मैं अदालत में बहस किया करता था. And argued each case with my wife. And before I appear in the courtroom, I would always prepare for this court case before my wife. And I will argue, I would argue with my wife. And because of that activity, because of that argument with my wife, my muscular growth, muscular strength has grown. And that has given an extraordinary strength to my jaws. Because of that strength, and this strength has lasted to the rest of my life. ये जो जॉ की यानी जो उनको जबड़े की जो ताकत है अपनी बीवी के साथ बहस करने की वजह से पूरी ज़िंदगी इनकी स्ट्रेंथ जो है जॉ की जबड़े की बरकरार रहती है. नाउ again the question is asked by the son. You know that the son is very much irritating. So many questions he is asking to his father. Do you think it is right? I don't think so. You can ask so many questions to his father or anyone else about one's abilities. If one is healthy and wholesome, so this is the quality of a person. We should not make fun of any person who is old and he can do work that a young man can also do. So the son is asking once again the son is asking the question to his father. What he's saying? He's saying, "You are old," said the youth. "One would hardly suppose that your eye was as steady as ever. Yet you balance an eel on the end of your nose. What made you so awfully clever?" And now the youth is again surprised at the ability of his father. He's saying, "You are old, and one would hardly suppose." He's saying that you are old, and the people would not suppose that, will not accept that you can see as sharp as you can see at your youth or when you were young. It means that his eyesight is still very good. And now he's saying, "Yet you balance an eel on the end of your nose." He's saying that your eyesight has become a little bit weaker, but still you can balance an eel on the nose. Suppose that I am making a figure of Father William. Suppose that this is Father William and there is an eel on his nose and he can balance an eel. And now you will see that to balance an eel on the nose will require a great skill, a great intelligence. So this is a very important thing for an old man who can balance an eel, and it requires strength, and it requires concentration and a little bit sharp eyesight also. So now the son is very much astonished or surprised. हैरान है बच्चा अपने पिताजी की इस करामात पर कि वो कैसे कर लेते हैं, एक मछली को अपने नाक पर कैसे बैलेंस कर पाते हैं. What made you so awfully clever? Awfully clever. Awfully means भयानक रूप से. It means that he is negatively praising his father's ability. Okay, he's saying, "You are clever, Father William." Father William means clever means here he is praising the quality of his father, and he's saying that intelligent. Here clever means intelligent, not chalak. Okay. Now the Father William has fed up of the continuous question of his son. This is the statement of Father William, and Father William will say something which was undesirable for the son. Father William will say that. And what does the Father William say? He says, "I've answered 3 questions and that is enough." उन्होंने कहा मैं तुम्हारे 3 क्वेश्चन का जवाब दे चुका हूँ, मैं तुम्हारे 3 सवालों के जवाब दे चुका हूँ, एंड दैट इज इनफ, और ये बहुत हो गया। सेड हिज फादर, उस बच्चे के पिताजी ने बोला कि डोंट गिव योर सेल्फ एयर्स, अपने आप पे घमंड मत करो। डोंट गिव योर सेल्फ एयर्स, अपने आप पे घमंड मत करो। एयर्स मीन्स प्राउड बिहेवियर, एयर्स मीन्स प्राउड बिहेवियर। ओके, डोंट गिव योर सेल्फ एयर्स, अपने ऊपर घमंड मत करो। दैट यू आर यंग एंड आई एम ओल्ड, ओनली यू कैन डू any unusual activity and it is not acceptable from me. I can also do. Age is just a number. And next he says, Father William says, do you think I can listen all day to such stuff? क्या तुम्हें लगता है मैं तुम्हारी बकवास दिन भर सुनता रहूंगा? Now Father William is threatening, warning to his son, saying, be off, यहाँ से चले जाओ, और आई विल किक यू डाउन स्टेयर्स, नहीं तो मैं तुम्हें सीढ़ियों के नीचे मारकर भेजूंगा। सो नाउ दिस लास्ट पोर्शन ऑफ द पोएम इज वेरी मच व्हाट सरप्राइजिंग। इट इज सरप्राइजिंग नो दैट an old man was being questioned so many times by his own son about the abilities, and the father was very much patient man. वो बहुत सब्र के साथ सारे सवालों का जवाब दे रहा था, बट उसके सब्र का बांध टूटता है। फिर वो गुस्सा होकर बोलता है कि अपने बच्चे से कि यहाँ से चले जाओ, नहीं तो मैं तुम्हें सीढ़ियों के नीचे मारते हुए ले जाऊँगा। ठीक है। एंड नाउ द लास्ट वन इज़ ऑल्सो ह्यूमरस ऑल्सो नो, थोड़ा सा मज़ा आता है यहाँ पे, लगता है कि अब फादर अपने बच्चे को मारेगा भी। ठीक है। सो दिस इज़ द होल पोएम, एंड this poem was written by Lewis Carroll. Thank you for this poem and also for listening.